Good morning, guys.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, John, how are you, man?
Yeah, not too bad. You all right?
Yeah, woke up a couple of hours ago, and here we are. I'm looking forward to doing my weekly process.
Nice, nice.
Cool. So let me just admit everyone else. Hey, guys.
Morning, Scott.
Morning. All right. So let's start with a little look at the real markets, just so we get a bit of a flavor for it, and then we'll move on to crypto markets, and then we'll. So it's an hourly chart, all-time highs. Okay, stock market, very interesting. So we had this, which looked like market manipulation, which failed, and they came back with more market manipulation. Buyers have jumped in heavy with the Fed signaling that it's going to hold the market up, and you see very clear retest off the lows, like the first RTV set up here, and then the first retest of the lows.
Yeah, I'm ready.
And then one sec. And then what's jumping out at me is this sequence of a lot of bars where each bar can't break the low of the previous bar. Now, this is something that you really want to pay close attention to when you see, because whenever you see this more than about 5 or 6 bars, it depends on the market, any pullback is going to be bought, because every time, the reason behind this is worth understanding. So anytime you see a bar like that, you'll get guys who think, oh, fuck, it's going up. It's going to make a new leg up, but I'll buy it on a pullback. And why is that? Because buying breakouts, as you've probably discovered, is emotionally very, very difficult, whereas buying pullbacks is emotionally very easy, right? So they're like, okay, I want to buy this, but I'm waiting for a pullback. Oh, shit, that pullback didn't come. I'll wait for the pullback. Pullback was only intraday. So one of the things that you're looking for when you're trying to work out, will it have a second leg up? The presence of micro gaps. See how it closed here and opened slightly above, closed at 446,250, opened 446,550. So we've got micro gaps 2 days in a row. The other key thing that you're looking for is that pullbacks are limited to intra-bar. So this is a failed pullback intra-bar that closed higher, open at the lows, close near the highs. So what are we looking for? We're looking for lots of bars without much overlap, lots of bars open near the lows and close near the highs, pullbacks limited to single bars, micro gaps, and long stretches without breaking the low of the previous bar. When we see that, and even more micro gaps. So a micro gap is when between the close and the next open, which is only like 45 minutes, buyers are so convinced that it's going to go up that they're willing to mash the buy button all at once on the open and jack the price up. So what that tells us is that we have not just buyers, but buyers who are desperate to get in right the fuck now. And so when you see this, for a start, you don't want to sell if you're holding a position like this. And secondly, any pullback is 100% guaranteed to be bought, because all the guy who planned right back here is like, I want that pullback. I want that pullback. Fuck. When's my pullback? And then what happens is you get a little pullback and they buy it straight away, right? And now we're back to this. So this is a market, the stock market at all-time highs, closed at all-time highs, reaffirmed that with 2 other closes at all-time highs. And let's look at the volatility. Decreasing volatility move on the weekly basis, which as we know is the longest running type of move, and decreasing volatility. So counter trend. So the bottom line is counter trend stock trades should be off the table for a while. Let's look at the dollar index. Okay. So this is a market that's on the verge of breaking out. So whether the breakout level was here or whether it's here or here, it's unclear. It's more clear on the euro actually, but we see a market that is it's actually easy to see. Let me make this a weekly chart first. So considering all the negative talk about the US dollar, like the US dollar's fucked and have hyperinflation, money printing, blah, blah, blah. For the last year, the US dollar is higher than it was. So the US dollar is going against what the news is saying, which is usually an interesting point to buy markets, because when the big moves are caused by traders getting caught by surprise, and nothing catches people by surprise quite as much as the market doing the opposite of what the news they're all reading tells them. So this is a market that could run and run and run. Let's look at a monthly chart, and then we'll look at the Euro USD, which is the bigger volume thing. So this is a monthly chart going back to 30 years or so. You can see that, let's show all the data. Is the US dollar expensive or cheap compared to where it usually is? Guys?
About in the middle.
Out in the middle, exactly so. Not expensive, not cheap, right? Does it have a clear directional bias?
No.
No, not at all. It's I think it's fair to say that it's exceptionally difficult to read, right? What do we say about markets that are exceptionally difficult to read? Usually they're in a trading range, usually. So how do we play trading ranges? Find this thing. So it starts to become a decent sell at the top of the trading range and the bottom of the trading range, somewhere around there or a little lower, doesn't have to be exact, is a good buy point. And if it breaks below and closes below, it's probably going to go low. And if it breaks above and closes above, it's probably going to go high. So directionally, on a long-term basis, I wouldn't want to have any directional opinion on currencies until once we get a little bit past halfway, the odds become very strong that we're going to vacuum up to the top. If we go up and fail and then get down a little bit below halfway, the odds are very strong that it's going to come down here. So we don't really have a directional opinion. And let's just check it with Euro US dollar, which is Euro up, dollar down. Dollar up is Euro down. So it's the inverse of it, but it's slightly different. And you can see we have a very low volatility reading right here. January 2020, before it started moving. And markets often change direction at around these low volatility points. So the market has been going up since then and has recently reversed and started going down. Could I say with any conviction what's going to happen there? No, that's a good market to stay aside. Let's move on to gold, and then we'll look at bonds, and then we'll come. So the red line is my stop loss on my trade here. We've got a market which is clearly in an uptrend, and this is clearly corrective movement on the monthly chart. Volatility is dropping while the market is choppy, which is consistent with the uptrend. That's what you should see. But as we drop down to the weekly basis, it's really going sideways too long. So what we have is some trading range behavior with the lower boundary here. Below here, the bull thesis is called into question. And on a weekly chart, we have a retest and it's going up. And we're starting to see these strings of this weekly bar couldn't break the low of this previous bar. This weekly low couldn't break this previous bar. So we're starting to see, we're still in a trading range, but what we're seeing is that the sellers are becoming exhausted. The sellers have very little firepower compared to what they had a few weeks ago. So starting to look okay on a weekly basis and on a daily basis. Still pretty inconclusive. All right, so let's look at bonds. I'm going to use the TNX, which is that 10-year yield, because it saves me doing it saves me back adjusting the futures data, which is difficult on TradingView. So this was the 2020 Corona crash. Bond prices, interest rates crashed, retested the lows, strong interest rate rally that caused all the inflation fears, backed off substantially, and where are we now? Interest rates going up, but going up inconclusively. A break above here looks to be another leg up, and a break below here looks like another leg down. Any other real markets or stocks that people want to have a look at before we move on to crypto?
Can you get Aussie bonds?
Sure. Which one, the 2-year or the?
Yeah, go short term.
$3 futures, $3 Canadian dollar futures. What have we got? Australian dollars, CFD futures. I don't know the code for it. Let me
I've
just.
got some codes up here, Scott. I think I found try AU O or 0, not sure. 2Y.
Okay.
AUO 2Y
AU 02Y.
or O, I'm not sure.
Let's look at. Oh, here we go. Thank you. Okay, so wow, fuck off. It'll be clearer on a 5-year and a 10-year. Actually, 10-year will be clearer. So short-term costs for Australian paper have just spiked out of.
It caused a sell-off in the stock market yesterday for Australia.
I'm not fucking surprised, right?
It looks like the RBA's lost control.
That's.
They decided not to buy any bonds this week, so there's speculation they're going to end their taper.
Wow. So the issue with doing charting when you're talking about interest rate stuff is that essentially interest rate policy comes down to a guy. It's like predicting which way the Supreme Court in America is going to rule. Any data that's based on human interaction is by definition noisy. So noisy data creates a lot of surprises. Yeah, I don't know if I've got anything to add other than the costs of financing Australia's debt just jacked. I mean, you can see this moving in really tight ranges. This is contract rollovers. This is not back adjusted data, which is why it looks weird. Yeah, really weird. Yeah, I don't know if I have much to add to that. Everyone, any stocks anyone wants to look at before we move on?
Let's take a look at Facebook.
Sure. Because Evgeny's got Facebook stock. All right. Big week in the news for Facebook, obviously. Decreasing vola, move up. For a week where, let's look at the daily chart. For a week where Facebook was in the news for all the wrong reasons, didn't really fuck with it too much. Volatility is very high on the way down. High volatility is the end on the way down. So this is close, if not at the end of this pullback. Let's look at the monthly chart. So decreasing volatility, monthly chart, meaning don't go counter trend, probably trade with the trend. There doesn't look to be anything other than a normal pullback here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months in a row up. 2 months of pullback is pretty normal. And once again, if we look at the way that those months are moving up, you know, here didn't break the previous low, didn't break the previous low, didn't break. So the Facebook bears are very weak. The only thing that's going to end this is the bull market ending. So looks to be a strong buy to me. Looks good. I wouldn't sell.
Thanks, Scott.
Okay, should we move on to crypto or anything else people want to look at?
Scott, is it possible to overlay bond yields with stock indices in an efficient
Yes, it
way?
is. Let me show you how to do that. You want NASDAQ or E-mini or both? Or?
Yeah, just a DAO.
Let's use that. Let's use the S&P instead of the Dow. And let's compare. So this is 10-year interest rates. Let's nothing I can see there. Doesn't really appear to be affecting things except for the panic when everything goes down together, right?
What about a bit more longer term for a bit of context, Scott?
Sure. Let's change this. Let's go back to the start of 2009. Let's take it back. Okay, so this is the stock bull market. Interest rates have broadly been going down started to go up, and then we had the taper tantrum, and interest rates have been going down again, going down. And then the shit hit the fan with the corona, and then they really got jacked down, and interest rates started to go up while the stock market went up. And then stock market kept going up, and then stock market kept going up. So I don't. It doesn't appear to be linked right now. And Jula wants to take a look at uranium, which is doing fucking great things. You are an M. We are close to the end of the month. Okay, uptrend. This is after, it's easy to see. I'm just going to let up URA because it's, even though it's probably not as good at ETF as URNM, we get more context because we've got more data. It's been traded longer. So you can see uranium's been in a forever bear market. Why has it been in a forever bear market? Largely because of contango. Let's say you're buying a crude oil futures contract for next year. Crude oil doesn't store itself. It has to be put into a tank somewhere, and it has to be insured, and it has to be transported there, and all that shit is tremendously expensive. If you think oil is expensive to transport and insure and secure, have a fucking go at uranium. Like you can't leave that shit without armed guards, right? So there is a heavy contango cost with uranium, which has been up until now a constant drag in performance forever. Then we have exactly what we want to see, which is a very, very long basing period. The longer the basing period, the more explosive the rally. Universal. We break out and close above here, which is when we identified the trade, potentially starting a new leg up. First pullback, heavily bought, some selling pressure here, but a micro gap up, another rally, some selling pressure. This is the very early stages of this bull market. I would say this thing is going, well, at the very least to here, and probably much higher. And so if we look at it at URNM, which is a better constructed but less data ETF. Nah, that's one to hang on to for a couple of years, man. Totally fine.
Scott, the scale, sorry, hi, this is Deepesh. The scale on the right-hand side seems to be like percentage rather than the actual.
Oh, sorry. There we go.
Oh, okay, got it.
Sorry.
Yeah, I kind of made a quick entry on the top right there, and
okay, yeah, it's fine, dude. This one is totally fine.
Got it, thanks.
This is going to be a really big winner for you, by the way. This is, this is everything you want to see is strength at the start of a move, and yeah, perfect. All right, we cool to move on to crypto now. All right, bigger picture, hit all-time highs for Bitcoin, closed above all-time highs. When we don't just hit the all-time highs but close above them, it tells us that the odds are very strong that even after a pullback, we're eventually going to go back higher. So at this bar, the fix is in. Now, we can only about 30% of breakouts immediately run. Most breakouts have this, which is the technical term is called back and fill. Now, why does this happen? This happens because it feels wonderful to sell for the highest price anyone's ever got a thing for. Exactly like the people who sold their Shiba early. As soon as you've got a big breakout, you've got a decent profit, and especially for these guys who've suffered through all of this. You bought here, you suffered through all of this shit, thought it was going to zero. Oh, maybe we're okay. Oh, fuck, it's fucked. Oh, fuck yeah. Finally got back to the goal. And in this process, people who are trapped in this trade, their thinking changes. And it changes from, I'm going to make $1 billion into, fuck, I hope I get my money back. And did anyone feel that when you were going through this bear phase, that your goals went from, fuck, we're going to make a shit ton of money to, oh shit, I hope this comes good and I get my money back? Did anyone feel that?
Yep.
So
I didn't.
that's the psychology behind it. So after all this trauma, oh fuck, it's okay. Oh shit, it's fucked. Maybe it's going back down. Maybe it's going back down to test 29 again. Fuck. Oh fuck, maybe we're okay. Fuck yeah, fuck yeah, fuck yeah. That's a lot of emotion, and the overload comes here, and people just go, well, I got my money back. Fuck it, I'm out. What sort of pullback should we be looking for if we're looking for a buy point? If you're in the middle of a pullback and you're looking for a buy point, the best buy points on a pullback, which you believe is just a pullback, is a two-legged pullback. So, and the things specifically that we're looking for are, let's zoom in. Actually, let's make it a 1 hour chart. We'll make it super easy to see. This first leg down should be reasonably clean. This second leg should be extremely hard to read and choppy with a number of fake outs in direction. And the third leg should be cleaner even than the first leg. Now let's zoom in a bit so we can see. So this first leg from here to here has a retest. It's fairly clean. The up moves are starting to look choppy while the down moves are looking clean. Everyone agree?
Yep.
The next move is very, very choppy and hard to read from here until here.
Mm-hmm.
And the third move, if this is the end, should be the cleanest and fastest move of the corrective phase. Do you think that's fair to say about the move from here to here?
Yes.
Exactly. So what we're doing is we're accumulating more evidence that this is the kind of thing that we want. So we had this big...
That big spike there, Scott, is that someone just trying to take out all the stops just there, or what?
I want to check that's not exchange specific. So let's look at the Coinbase exchange, see if it was there. No, that was that big fuckery the other day.
Fat fingers or something? Or?
Probably a big player getting out. More than fat fingers. So what are we seeing here? This corrective phase is clearly coming to an edge. We're at a, look at the volatility. So before things start to move quickly, you tend to reach a low in volatility right before things move. We're at a low in volatility for quite some time, looking for a breakout in volatility. And if you look back, generally lows in volatility start before we get a big move. So a low in volatility, before we get a big move, a low in volatility before we get a big move, right? Like this is very provable behavior. So we're sort of on the verge of a big move here, probably half a week away. Now, let's compare to Ethereum. Would you look at that? So Ethereum has just broken out to all-time highs overnight. Now, that's very interesting. It's broken out and closed above. Now, where did this move start? It started from this extreme and low volatility, and we're about halfway up, so we got plenty of room to run. On a weekly chart, that looks like money. Ethereum really looks like money now. Now, the most important chart for crypto overall is Ethereum against Bitcoin. Why? Because when we break above here, altcoins are going to go fucking ballistic, like ballistic. And at that point, we've probably got 6 months to go in the whole thing, right?
Mhm.
If Ethereum breaks below here, pulls the whole bull market thesis into question.
Mhm.
Why? Because if Bitcoin's going up without Ethereum, without altcoins, then we're not really in a bull market.
Mhm.
So where are we right now? We are
Above the halfway point, which makes it vacuumous to the top. Yeah.
exactly so. Exactly so. And what I'd like to point out, if this rally is real, every pullback should be bought relatively quickly. And we should have some of those signs that we're looking for that a move is going to have a second leg up. Here, couldn't break the previous bar low, 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 couldn't break the previous bar low. Bears are weak. Whenever you see this, you should be thinking bears are weak, therefore any pullback should be bought. Any pullback should be bought. We have this very bearish looking bar midweek.
Excuse me, Scott.
Sure.
Is there any correlation between that and the Glassnode charts that you show us?
There's overlap. The Glassnode charts are more of a 3D view of things that I like to start with price action and then work down.
Okay.
The Glassnode charts are, as a general proposition, more accurate than these. But most people don't know how to read like price charts properly. So it's easy, and that's my expertise. So it's easy to start with that and then move on to the Glassnode. So this is a very bearish looking bar. In context, we would have expected probably another few days of pullback, right? Like if you saw that, what would you expect?
You're going to get a black bar next.
At least one black bar. Not only did we not get what was the highest probability, we closed above the previous high. And the bears, after this, there was no selling pressure, even enough to take it below this low. So this open isn't really far from this low, and no one's selling. That's my point. Is that the selling pressure is limited really to 1 day or a day and a half. And that's probably explainable by profit taking. We had a strong move, took some profit. Yeah, so this is all looking kind of good. And 548 open. Okay, check this out. We have the close 5148 and the next open 5160. So we have a little micro gap.
Mhm.
Yeah, just one, and the close 312. Just one, but it's very difficult to get a micro gap in crypto because they're 24-hour trading markets, right? So this looks like once we get to about here, we're going to get to a tipping point and it will start to vacuum. So I think that's the point when it will become obvious that we're in alt season. We're definitely in alt season and yeah, we're definitely in alt season, but we're in the very, very early stages of it. So I think what we should do is look at, let's look at some individual charts of the top coins, and I'll just go through them. All right, I'm just gonna start going through. So let's actually start with the alts that we're in right now. System alts. Okay. Okay, Luna has recovered from that intraday thing. That looks okay. CRV looks magic. First pullback was bought. Tezos has recovered quite hard. Solana, I don't know why that's in there. This looks like it's going to have a second leg, but not yet. Omis Go looks like shit. And what was the other one that we had? AVAX, right? Also looks like shit. Okay, so either way, now I'm just going to go through some of these charts on the top just quickly, just so we get a okay. Unless this is a potential retest, but it doesn't look great. That could go either way, but we're at a very low volatility point, so anything can happen there. Coty completed retest 2 days ago. Single bar pullback looks strong, very low. This one looks good. Ren is still retesting its lows. Looks like it's okay, I guess. FTM is a very strong coin which attracted a lot of FOMO in. So this was the intraday pullback, very heavily bought and pulled back. Yeah, I don't know what to make about that. XTZ. Again, low volatility point. Luna. Looks better than its peers. It's already going up before its peers. AVAX. Has to start breaking bar highs. CRV. Amazing week for it. Profit taking here, high volatility. And there's a couple of the DeFi coins I want to keep tracking because Matic has been So Matic is a very obvious top of the trading range. The question is this a trading range or is this a breakout? So what do you, the trading range top is here and the trading range bottom is what do you think about this? Anyone?
Well, it's not a breakout yet. It's hit the top. It'll probably have another go at it though, I'd think.
So look at what we've been looking for. You get this clue that the shit is going to break out. This is a strong clue. This is a strong clue. This price action behavior, before trading ranges break out, you get lots of, you start going from, look at this price action, down, down, up, down, down, nothing, down, up, down, up. You see how this is very different than here.
And this, yeah.
So before we get a breakout of the trading range, and don't forget, all the technical analysis guys are watching this trading range, but because we're using price action, not classical technical analysis, we know that the fix is in here. This one is going to break out, and what's likely to happen there? Simple technical analysis is better than complicated. If it breaks out there, it's likely to go either to here or to here. Chances are it makes an attempt at all-time highs, which is just like this, like an attempt to break out. Once it breaks out, it's off and running. Make sense?
Yep.
This is one, if any of you are running discretionary accounts, I'd be quite bullish about this. Polkadot is the other one. This was like a market darling early on. It 10x'd in a couple of months at the start of the year, and then dropped 80% of its value in May. Huge amount of bag holders. Once it gets out of here, this one could run again. So Polkadot, I might just set an alarm here. And the other one I want to look at is Uniswap. Wow. Okay. So what do we have? Volatility-wise, not quite at yearly lows, but not a long way off. Like within a week, that could be at yearly volatility lows. If we're in a bull market, it's unlikely to break to the downside, right?
Yep.
Classical technical analysis, if you look up any of the Edwards and McGee textbooks, will tell you that this shape of triangle breaks to the downside most of the time. That is not true in a bull market. So we have the potential for motherfuckers to be caught the wrong way. They're expecting it to go down. It's looking quite bearish. It's threatening to break down. This is quite a good discretionary play here. Why? Because if you get a close below this bar, you can exit at a very, very tight risk. So if you're doing any discretionary trading on this, this is nice because you get a close below here. You get a close below here and you know you're wrong like 3% away. And that's a nice trade. All right. Let's look at market cap of altcoins at all-time highs. So we're threatening to break out to all-time highs on altcoins in market cap Now let's look at,
Hey, Scott, is it possible to exclude Ethereum as well?
sure. What I usually do is make a ratio of, is divide it by that'll do it, right? The ratio of Ethereum to no, that won't do it. I don't know how to. I don't know how to do that. Let me see if they have it.
But total 3 was all altcoins minus Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Sorry, guys, my bad. You learn something every day. Okay, so we're still a little bit below all-time highs testing it. So this is clearly a coiling, you know, getting ready to break out. Yeah, this is looking good. All right, now I think what we should do is look at the week's action when we overlay it on our universe. So last week started, when did it start? 25th. All right. So this is the week so far. What have we got? Mana, clear winner. HNT, what is this? What's this thing here? HNT. ENJ, Matic, thirds. Okay, so viewed as a whole, the strong alts aren't strong yet. Let's just circle back on Mana. Oh, fuck off. What the fuck is that?
I've been on it.
Anyone have any clue as to what happened there?
Nope. But it's good. I like it. Made me a couple of thousand.
There you go.
So I heard some bullshit that Facebook changing its name to Meta kind of set off a bunch of like altcoin shit, like Metaverse or something. I think there's a coin called Metaverse or something. I think that one popped.
So the metaverse is the generic name for people creating virtual worlds on the blockchain, and NFTs are the metaverse. And clearly not just, and clearly paying you know, $1 million for a JPEG of a pet rock that you don't even own is more than just money laundering.
Yeah, so basically that's kind of what I heard. I heard this is because basically Facebook changed its name, and like people are like,
wow.
So what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts? Get in or get out?
So, okay, so this is an interesting situation. Anytime you have a massive candle like this, your risk on the play goes through the roof, right? Mm-hmm. Where do you know you're wrong? You don't know if you're wrong until back here or back here. So picking direction is not something that we have to do. It's clearly got strength. Clearly there'll be people. So what happens after you get an abnormally big bar? I want you to imagine you're the guy who's held this thing and watched it go down, 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 down. You wake up and you're like, fuck, it's up 50%.
Yep.
What do you feel? Are you tempted to take profits?
But yeah, I'm tempted to sell, but I thought I'd wait till after the meeting today and see what yourself thought. But
Okay.
I think
So what happens is some people are tempted to sell. Some people become even more convinced and buy more. Some people wake up who weren't positioned and see this and going, shit, I should have bought it. Fuck, is it too late? Fuck.
yeah.
So what this is cross currents. So if you imagine like a nice clean lake, like it's crystal clear, and someone throws a big rock in it, it takes a while for that rock to settle and the picture to become clear again. And that's what happens here. You're likely to have some choppy action before the upward march resumes. So is it going to trade higher? Almost certainly. Is it going to trade higher in the next week? I wouldn't be willing to make that bet.
Yeah, right.
If you're a discretionary trader, how do you handle big events like this? The way that I handle it is a hard rule that every time I feel like boasting about something, I sell 25% of what I have left.
Yeah, true.
So every time you feel like bragging about it, just sell a little bit. That's
yeah. Well, I saw this morning, and I thought that. I thought, geez, what do I do here to get out, stay? But if we're going into alt season too, you got to look at it. We're in alt season.
Yeah, exactly. So H bar's still doing nothing. Looks like every other alt, by the way. Deepish. Sorry, continue, mate.
Yeah. If we're going into alt season, I'm thinking, well, hang on to it. It's not such a bad thing,
Yeah, not such a bad thing at all.
Yeah.
Shiba chart should be interesting.
Oh boy. Now I got out on the expansion bar. I've been scaling out all the way. So I got out some here, some here, and a little bit right here. Okay. What do you see? Long stretches where there's sellers, but they still can't break the previous bar low, just like we saw here. As crazy as it sounds, and I'm completely out, we're probably going to have another leg.
Yeah,
That's
right. Yeah.
insane. Look at that fucker.
Because it's still got a very low price, hasn't it, really?
Well, it hasn't, because
If you look at market cap versus price, if it goes up much more, it's going to be taking over like number 5 slot or number
it's
6
the
slot.
biggest cryptocurrency in the world. It's a dog with a slightly cuter logo than the other dog coins. Like
That's right, exactly.
I mean, what's this?
What do they use it for?
It's not as bad as it sounds. Is what I'll say. So what it is an experiment in community. All of the creators of the coin, they burnt their own coins. So no one there's no insiders who own a pile for nothing, who just got it for free for inventing the thing. So they gifted half the treasury to Vitalik, the Ethereum kid, and he gave $1 billion away and then gave the rest to charity.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And then he burnt the rest. So everyone who owns this coin had to pay for it. So all the admins and all the people involved in development, they had to pay for it. So it's an interesting experiment. Coin market cap.
It's a coin for people between 17 and probably about 25.
I think so. So where is Dogecoin? Where is? It's not listed on here, but it's
CoinGecko.
yeah. Number 9, the 9th biggest cryptocurrency. What the fuck?
There you go. Knife. Yeah.
And number
But
10
look
is
at the
another
pro-
dog.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And look at the price you can get it for.
1 cent.
Does it go in our universe? What's the deal with what makes it into the selection process?
Yeah, it's going to go into our universe pretty soon. Actually, it probably should be added. It's going to be a difficult one to add because there are no BTC pair. It may not be possible to add it unless someone has a BTC pair. I got to think about that. Is there a BTC? Yeah, that's going to be really difficult to calculate. We may not be able to add it to the trading universe.
Yeah.
Very I mean, very risky thing to buy after it's already up 10x, but as weird as it sounds, it looks like it's probably going to keep going up. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Who knew that momentum had its own kind of momentum? So the things I learned, I extremely experienced some really painful butt hurt this week because I'd sold out I oversized this position. Like I made a fucking shit ton of money on this, but I'd oversized my position and I sold some out here, which I jagged like right at the top of here. And I was feeling like the smartest cunt in the world right here. And then I was like, oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. You've only got a little bit left. And,
But you came out a winner, didn't you? You came out a winner in the end. You made money.
I made a couple $100,000, but
yeah, that's it. Yeah.
But what I learned is that with these micro cap coins, when you jag a winner, you should probably not just take the first. You should probably expect a second leg. Is my point.
Yeah.
And it's
but
probably
when you've got so much money in it too, it's hard to do that, isn't it?
And that's what I learned is that I'd oversized the position and it fucked with my head. It was like, wow, this is the first time I've ever had like a 10 bagger in size, and it fucked with my head. And I didn't trade particularly well as a result. All right, so let's look at some micro cap altcoins. I think let's start with the. Let's start with the ones where we're holding. Okay, this is
that's Misty.
Misty. It's my Filipino employee finder. Right. Great chart. Yeah, nothing wrong with this. Retest. Any break of the highs. I might even add some more there. Looks great. Okay, what else do we need to look at? We need to look at VRA. Breakout to all-time highs. Well, we got it. Nearly doubled. It's nearly doubled. Not quite. It's up about 70% or so. Look at the move off the lows. You see this thing again, couldn't break the bar low, bar low, bar low, bar low. You see how reliable this is at the start of a move?
Yeah.
So what you should be looking for is this behavior representing strength at the start of a move. Now, also you should be looking at the distance and the length of the first pullback. See how the first pullback only lasted 2 days?
Yeah.
So what that's telling us is there was a bunch of cunts waiting for a pullback and they just couldn't wait. Again, couldn't break the bar low, couldn't break the bar low, couldn't break the previous bar low, couldn't break it. This pullback almost certain to be bought. This pullback is bought. This one's a runner. Don't sell. This one's a runner.
Good.
Woo. Okay. We've got this very clear all-time highs behavior. We
Can you
had
repeat that, please, mate? The internet broke down for a minute.
VRA's a runner. Just keep it. Just keep it. So
Thank you.
breakout from a triangle pattern, it's testing the old highs here. If it breaks above here, it's off to the races. So we have two competing theories. Theory one, it's a trading range, and as it gets more expensive at the top of the trading range, all these people who bought all here are going to sell for a small profit because they'd rather have a safe profit than swing for the fences. That's theory one.
Mm-hmm.
Theory two is it's coiling for a breakout. Once it gets above here, everyone's going to hold a lottery ticket in their pocket. People will stop selling because fuck, it's at all-time highs. This thing could be a 100-bagger, and people will stop selling, which will make it go up faster, and it will attract people, and we'll have that positive feedback. So what we're looking for is to break this down into clues as to which of those two competing theories is here. So if we're at the top of the trading range, anytime we hit the top of a trading range, we should see selling pressure just from people banking profits and what have you. How much selling pressure did we see? We saw 1 day and then bought, 2.5 days and then bought for 3 days, 1 day and then bought. It doesn't look to me like we have selling pressure consistent with driving it all the way back down to here, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Especially given that we're in alt season, I think this is a slam dunk. This is going to break out. The longer it takes to break out, the stronger the breakout is when it happens. So if we're talking about breakouts, let's talk about breakouts within the context of micro-cap altcoins. Micro-cap altcoins, the only technical analysis pattern that is really worth a pinch of shit is a breakout to new highs. Why? Because look at what these cunts of things do. They do nothing for long periods of time. And then when they start to go, fuck do they go, right?
Yeah.
And what are we looking for when you see a breakout? Like assuming we were trading this like way back here, it's an obvious trading range. We're looking for clues that we've changed from trading range behavior into breakout behavior. Now, this is clearly choppy bullshit price action, right? Lots of overlap, down, up, down, up, down, up, all the usual shit. What you should be very alert for when you're following trading ranges, and this is the primary thing I do, I look for clearly defined trading ranges, a long period of sideways bullshit, and then the market starting to get in gear at some point. Now, I want you to tell me as I cycle through this, I want you to tell me the point where you feel confident that the character has changed.
There.
Exactly.
Right there. Well
Right
done.
there.
Yep.
Becoming more certain, more certain.
Can you chuck a volume on the chart as well?
Sure. By the way, on TradingView, better volume is the name of the indicator for the better volume. Okay, so we're seeing breakout on drastically increased volume. Now, this brings me to another interesting thing. Real breakouts with real volume spikes. See how it goes up, 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 and like the downside of it has a down. So it's not when you see a single bar volume by itself that's really big with nothing either side of it, I call it boner volume. And it's a very, very bearish signal. So it's a sign that it was one person, one player trying to manipulate the market.
Mhm.
And usually it's just fuckery afoot. So this is telling us that the breakout is real. It's on higher volume. If we go back to there. I mean, that was at 5 cents. It's $1.30, right? Like you only need one of these to make your whole year. Now, look at this long sideways period. The longer the sideways period, the better. The more clearly defined the horizontal parts, the better. Once everyone's holding a lottery ticket in their pocket, the selling pressure is drastically reduced. Once we get the first pullback, I want you to consider what the first pullback means. The first pullback is the first opportunity for weak hands, for pussies to sell out. Oh, fuck, I made 30% profit and it's starting to go down. Fuck, I better bank some profit. Otherwise,
That's what he did with Shiba, wasn't it?
Yeah. well, mine was a bit higher. Mine was a bit higher than that. But
yeah.
I mean, I averaged a 5-bagger for the trade. It wasn't the end of the world.
No. Can you put a stop in? Same with your Shiba one. Same with this. Could you put a stop in case it goes to another?
Stops in crypto are generally not a good idea. Because the markets are prone to flash crashes, and a flash crash is like Ethereum has gone down to like $5 inside a 5-minute candle a couple of times. So eventually you're just going to get wiped out from doing that. So a stop loss.
There was one this week. There was a flash crash this week on Binance US.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Bitcoin went down to like $8,000.
Yeah, a stop loss is supposed to save your ass. If what a stop loss does is you wake up one day and I sold all my Bitcoins for $8,000. It's like, well, how is that?
Yeah.
How is that saving me risk? Like that's just a whole bunch of extra risk.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. Good. So, bottom line. Before we move on. How long is this sideways period? Long. The longer the sideways period, the more explosive the move when it breaks. From every perspective, this one's going to go. This is an exchange that's growing in volumes and users by about 300% every quarter. It's showing exactly the it's showing exactly the same. Exchanges are the most profitable businesses in crypto. This is an exchange that's the 24th biggest exchange by volume, and yet its liquidity is in some pairs better than Binance. So this is an extremely good exchange to trade with. WooX. As a professional trader, this is an exchange that I actually want to trade with. And why? Because they amalgamate liquidity, but these are experienced high frequency trader people. They amalgamate liquidity between KuCoin, FTX, FTM, DYDX, distributed exchanges, and they put it all to their centralized exchange and share their liquidity out with distributed exchanges. So as a trader, this tiny little exchange is almost as good as Binance to trade with.
Geez, yeah, right.
They don't have as big a coin list, but that can all change, right? And their selling point is they don't charge fees. They charge, and that's a big drag on crypto performance. You trade fee free on their exchange. How do they do that? Same business model as Robinhood. They're selling the order flow to HFT firms. And the people involved in this is the ex-CEO of Kronos, which is the largest market maker in crypto. They do 30 billion a day in revenue, and they're ex-director of Virtu, which is the largest HFT firm in the stock market. So we're not talking about like a couple of kids in a basement. We're talking about CEO level executives of large tech firms already in a business that they're familiar with. Virtu are the best HFT operators in the world. Kronos are the best HFT market makers in crypto. Technically, they've got the chops. The people are impressive. The tech works. Liquidity and users are growing at 300% a quarter. If they grow at that rate, they will start to become a major exchange inside of 6 months. What is the coin worth then? The Binance coin is worth $80 billion. If they get to half of Binance's thing, that's a 100-bagger, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it has, I'm not saying they're going to do that, but it has 100-bagger potential. So this is one that when it breaks, don't fucking sell it.
Yeah.
Scott, quick question. Hi, Scott. It's Alex.
Hey, Alex, how are you, bro?
Yeah, good, mate. Just quick question. The WooCoin on the Woo network. I mean, to buy it, the WooCoin, what would your recommendation be?
I bought it on gate.io, which is shit. You can buy it. I would and plan on opening up a WooX account and buy it there.
Just on their actual
on their actual exchange is always going to be the best place to buy it. You can buy it on KuCoin, you can buy it on Huobi, and if you're in America, you need to buy it on Uniswap or SushiSwap or one of those, and use a MetaMask.
Well,
America has KuCoin.
Well, I'm not in America yet. It might happen. But
Wait, which is this called?
It's called Woo.
Yeah, but Americans can use KuCoin.
They can use KuCoin, but they have Woo blocked on KuCoin because of some weird reason.
Really?
Yep.
Cheers, Scott.
Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. Okay. Safe Haven. This has been one that's on my list for a while. I'll see if I can get a Bitcoin pair. All right. We are heading towards a breakout. I think that needs an alarm. This is a thing that one of my guys is red hot on. It's a way, it's called Safe Haven. It's who gets your crypto keys if you die. So it's it hooks up to all the exchanges, and if for some reason you die, it doesn't mean that your crypto is lost. I mean, I don't know if I don't know if their execution is good. I don't know anything about it, but all I look for fundamentally is an idea that doesn't sound completely fucking retarded. That doesn't sound completely retarded. Probably has to get above here before we see any traction, because these are where the bag holders are. Right?
Yeah.
But I want to know above here. And we're seeing volume steadily rising off the lows. It's worth a look. Okay, next one on my list. This one looks really good. MOVR. Moon River. Obviously, it has to break out above here before it does anything, right? But what do you notice about this section of price action?
It looks like the beginning of a breakout. Yeah,
exactly. And retest concept off the lows. So a very aggressive position would be here, and getting out if we fall below there. And a less aggressive position would be waiting until we break above here or break above here. This one looks really good. I think I'm going to recommend this one.
Now, fundamentally,
I don't know anything about it.
Moon River is a coin of Kusama, right?
Okay.
On the Kusama blockchain. Now, that's a junior, like a canary in the coal mine.
Sorry, say again, please.
That's a canary in the coal mine for Polkadot.
Very insightful.
Now,
Scott is one that I'm watching really closely.
Yep, the sister coin for Moon River is Moonbeam, which will be launched on Polkadot very shortly.
Okay, so still no volume. Okay. When you see a chart like this, like horizontal lines, this is an untradeable chart with very few with no market makers, and someone comes along and says, "Fuck, I got to buy it," and hits the buy button and here. I think we need to add this to the watch list.
Mm-hmm.
Is it MBC, MB Core? Do you know anything about MB Core, Moonbeam, about the sister coin?
No, not much. It's going to be launched on the Polkadot network. They've got a parachain launch coming up.
Would you be willing to undertake some more research for the group into this?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah, no, I'd appreciate that. All right, QMT. Okay, nothing really. Still going down. It's going down while other things are going up. An important thing to consider is not just the price action on its own, but the price action in totality with what the other things are going. Because this is so much of a popularity, fucking Tinder swipe left on the hot girl situation, it's going to be difficult for a coin that is going down while other coins are going up to get any traction. Everyone get that? Yeah. Like, why would you buy this fucker? Like the chart looks okay, but like, why it? Why not those other things that are already going up?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Step is one I'm watching closely. Can only get it in USD. Still looks like dog shit. Same deal. Like, yeah, it's just gonna have. I want to know about here. And this is really good practice to keep track of things on your watch list. So I make liberal use of alarms. MBL is another one that I'm watching closely. Movie Block. It's got a break above here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you can see clearly that the only technical analysis pattern that's worth a pinch of shit for these things, because they're so small, is breakout and close above to fresh highs. Because everything else that you're doing is really, these are so small. These just get washed around by Bitcoin and the larger crypto market, and people FOMOing into Shiba and they stop buying these little coins and blah blah blah. Okay, so this one is nothing. Next one is Dawn. Again, it's got to be here, right?
Yeah.
EFX. Not really. STX. We need a breakout above here. That's still doing nothing. UNT. Again, do nothing. Joe, Ray, and Chess. Joe. Let's see if I can get a better chart. Oh. By the way, if you haven't got any OMI, it's probably a good long shot bet that has a decent shot at coming off. Just show me a real chart.
Did you say OMI, Scott? Was that a recommendation?
Oh my, yeah, it's a recommendation.
Yeah.
Most of us are already in it. Okay, so this is Joe that we didn't like before, still going down. It's crap. What's some other small ones? EQO from Zach Butcher, who's arguably the best trader in our group, actually. Like, there are times when I think that Zach's better than me. So he's red hot on this, and he's involved in the community. Chart looks like ass. Yeah, that's fucked. Oh, maybe. Let's have a look. Yeah, no, that's us. Nia, that's another one to look at. Getting closer to it, right? Close above here, and we're close. If we get a close above here, it's the highest close so far. Probably good enough instead of the wick. So I'm just gonna. So the game for these is not trying. So we have evidence that this thing is probably going to break out. Like, look at this. Look at this string here. This pullback is almost certainly going to be bought. It's a little bit too speculative to say this is going to get to there and then off to the races. Not terrible, tempting to take a flyover position. DYDX. No, it's terrible. Just terrible. CFX. Okay, these are some new ones from people. It's like shit. ILV. All right, now we have some potential. Let's have a look. What else have we got? This is a nice chart, but it's a little late. I'm going to. Personally, I don't like chasing charts because the risk reward is thrown out. Okay, Songbird. Too thin. ARPA. Let's have a look at ARPA. Okay, that's a good chart. We have strong move to all-time highs. No, not all-time highs. Yearly highs. Still some bag holders there. This is inconclusive, but looks pretty good. Okay.
Yeah, funny, Scott. I was talking to Ben. He had a discretionary trade on Alpha, which I landed up entering. So
looks good. Looks good to me.
Thanks.
Okay, Parrot Protocol. Who the fuck you are? Oh, that's shit. Okay, I got another couple to look at. Let me find these. Okay, Polis. Okay, bottom of the trading range, got to at least break out to here, ideally above there. I think we should watch for the form of this rally and see if it takes the same form as this. So this is indication that we're probably going to have a second leg. That second leg is starting now. You could take a speculative position now or a safer position above here or a safe for a micro cap coin. This one is not bad. I'm going to upgrade that. What is it? Polis USD. I'm going to put that on the keep a close eye list. Okay, other ones that I've been sent are wild.
Scott, could you please share the link of this Excel sheet, please?
Sure, I'll send it to you, man. We need to do a little bit more research to make sure that's the real chart. Go back to here. That's going to be an easier way. Okay. Which one of these competing wild is it? Wilder World. This is one of those digital gaming, NFT, metaverse, virtual world kind of things. It's not implausible that these become the new hotness. Hello. This is getting pretty close. What is the market cap? Market cap rank, number 250 coin. Need better charts. Let's look at the markets. Where can you get this turd from? Uniswap, KuCoin, Gate.io. So it's mostly Uniswap and then KuCoin. Okay, so if all the initial trading was done on Uniswap, it was all done using Ether as a base currency. Like all those swaps use Ether, right? This one is very close to breaking out. This one is one to really keep a close eye on. Add this to the document. Okay, I'm adding this to the keep a close eye watch list. So when I do watch lists for discretionary trading, I have the things that you hold should be first and foremost, right? Like that should be every time you check charts, you should check the shit that you actually own before check the shit you don't own. And then I have a keep a close eye, and then shit that's like a maybe. I want to know. Add alert. Okay. Wilder. Okay, I've got a few good ones here.
I've got a couple of gaming coins which have been running for a while, which have run, which might be interesting to have a look on charts.
Sure. Names.
Star Atlas.
I've been hearing about this from a number of people. Let me add this to the list. Star Atlas. Above there. Okay, so this is an unusual situation. We have this move here, which is clearly promising us a second leg up, right? We have an extended sideways to down leg. Is it going, where is the ease of movement? Easy up, hard down, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what this price action represents is, imagine a swimming pool with like a beach ball, inflatable beach ball. You can push it down, but the second you take the pressure off, it's going to burst up. And that's what we see here. Micro close, 6,000, open, 7,425. We have a little micro gap today. This one is going to get to there. Yeah, I think this is a buy right now, dude.
Next, Altura.
Sorry, what was that?
The next one, Altura.
Okay, this is a pancake swap with BNB. I mean, that's been running. It's going to continue to go because look, we see this key behavior where you get on the initial run, you get a big string that can't break the low of the previous bar. Almost guarantees that any dip is going to be bought, right? And that's exactly what we're seeing. This one is going to run, but your risk reward's all screwed up. It's probably still early, but we want to see some different charts. ALU, what's it called? ALU. Altura? ALU.
Yep.
Okay, let's see if we can get a better chart. And the time to buy it was the first breakout, but it's still early days. It's still 12 cents, micro gap up. Let's look at 30 days. And this one looks like it wants to run, but it's still pretty risky. They're nicer to get on, this first breakout from the sideways period. So I'm just making a note. Nice chart. Okay, so let's segue into that a little bit. When do you chase? When do you get greedy and get on before the breakout? So the time to buy the optimal time to buy any microcap altcoin is the first breakout. When do you get a little bit greedy and go, okay, it's going to break out? I'll buy it anyway. Fuck it. Like this one. Fuck it. It's going to break out. I'll YOLO into this. Like, when do you do that? And the other situation is it's already broken out. When do I chase? Because quite often, like if you see the breakout here and you go, I missed it, you buy it here, you've got another day, and then you've got to sit through 2 months of butthurt while it goes on. So when do you chase? When can you be aggressive and buy early? And when do you wait for the right time? So any thoughts on that?
Scott, I was wondering if maybe being aggressive is not that risky at the moment, being in the bull market. I mean, it's not going to tank.
Okay, so this is exactly the answer that I was hoping. So it depends on market phase. When we get a time when all sectors of the market are flying together, it's not risky at all to do this. When we get the very final stages before a market crash, paradoxically, it's not risky at all to do this. Why? Because the last stages before a market crash, everyone's made so much money, they're feeling like risky gamblers on a hot streak, and they just like, fuck, find me the next one, find me the next one, find me the next one. At the start of a move, it's much riskier to buy early and much safer to chase. So at the start of a move, it's a little bit okay to chase. At the start of a move, it's not okay to buy early because you get this situation like we have with Step Finance, that this one looked like it was going to break out, didn't, and then did this. You get a lot of this if you're buying too early, because this is all a function of the phase. So where are we now? We're early in the altcoin game. We're probably 45% of the crypto bull market way through, but we're very early in the altcoin game. It's not quite safe to buy before breakouts. On the other hand, anything that has the power to break out early, that's a signal of its own. Microcap altcoins aren't breaking out, but this fucking thing started going. Well, that's a signal all of its own. So it's early on in the game, it's a little bit safer to chase and a little bit more dangerous to buy early speculatively. Make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. I think we can move on from there. And,
before we go there, Moon River was released on a parachain of Kusama. So originally you had to buy Kusama and then crowd loan it to Moon River, and you've got a hold of somewhere between about, I think, 6 and 48 weeks, right? But you were allocated a Moon River allocation, I suppose. So you would kind of get about a 10-to-1. So there's that added layer of people who are taking profit,
Gotcha.
who have bought in early.
Gotcha. And let's not forget, these guys have got a 10-bagger. They bought at 79 and it got to 500. Like what's not a 10-bagger, but it's not a long way off. Like that's every bit as good as Shiba, right?
Oh no, it's kind of like a 40-bagger.
Wow.
Right. A friend of mine, I didn't get in time, but I got in late or a little later. But a friend of mine bought Climber, Klima. It's not listed. You won't see a chart. Right. But it was on the Alchemist network. So he bought in at I think it was about $130, and he got 23 of them. Then he staked them for maybe 2 weeks, which he got another 9. Then he couldn't sell the 9 because they'd been staked. They were alpha climber. He sold his about I think he sold 23 of them for about roughly 2.5 each. And then he still got his 9, which is at the moment. Oh, you've got it. Okay.
I'll look at a longer term chart. This is it's only been charted for a couple of days.
Yeah, but you can compare it to like Olympus or or Ohm or Wonderland or any of the other sort of forks of the Ohm DAO.
Gotcha. Flux, someone was asking about, needs to break out above here, but that's definitely something to go on the watch list. So let's get an alarm on it. And let me add this to the watch list. Thank you for whoever said that. Okay, any other coins you guys want me to look at? And I've got a couple more that I think are really good. Oh, by the way, someone just sent me this, that OMI coin. Disney has just announced they're going to launch Disney NFTs on that OMI platform. So, I think all the fundamentals are very wishful thinking and kind of not to be believed, but that's a plausible line of bullshit. UFO against wrapped ether. Wow. Okay. It's a bit late. This would have been nice to get here. It's probably not going to pull back. If it does pull back to here, it's probably something that we don't want to buy anymore. Yeah, that was a really good buy here. I'm adding it to the watch list. I would have liked to have bought that, yeah. PYR. All right. Let's do some more research into this. That looks like it's going to go. Hmm. 500% in a month. This one's a little late too. No, that's a good chart.
A quick question, Scott. These all seem to be gaming metaverse type coins.
Yeah, I've got a guy who's into that world. I've got him sending me gaming metaverse stuff. Any others that you guys have? There's another one that people keep talking about called Cope. So what I do with this is I get my watch list stuff. I try and identify anyone in the group who's like a super nerd about this stuff, and the people who live and breathe it, and I just try and get recommendations, and then I just add them to the list. Okay, this is quite interesting. We see the same behavior with the kickoff. We see the first pullback almost certain to be bought, and it is. Needs to be above here to do anything, but this is early stage and looking good. If you wanted to take a speculative position, this would be okay to take a small speculative position. one way to play these is to put in, half of your position early and then consolidate once it starts breaking out.
Isn't it hitting resistance on the last portion of the run?
Yeah, exactly. So this old support becomes resistance. Classical technical analysis doesn't matter as much with these microcap coins because people aren't trading them the way they trade Bitcoin. What people are mostly doing is accumulating bags and selling those bags when they've made enough money or lost enough money, right? So the psychology of microcap altcoins is very, very different. And why? Because people know that there's 100 to 1 if they get it right. So people don't sell on a 20% bump, and they don't sell out on a 20% drop either. They kind of condition to expect these things to go down, and then spike. So this is speculative, very speculative. I wouldn't be surprised if it breaks out, probably a little early. Okay, so what else do we have to look at today?
I think someone mentioned H bar before.
Yes, it looks like crap.
Okay.
SKL looks like crap. SCRT. Wait. You can see the longer the sideways position, the better it is when it breaks out. So that's a nice buy there. Some dexes for Phantom. Boo. So we'll look at it against Ether. Oof, nothing. Spirit. Nothing. And Beats. From memory, this one looked okay. Down 17.5% overnight. That was like crap. It's PRT. Okay. Starting to get in gear. I definitely want to watch this one, but it's nothing yet. So as a general rule, you think you want to buy it for $9, but at $9 it's a 50% chance of going up. At $13, it's a 70% chance of going up. So even though what it feels like is that you want to buy it at 9, you really don't. You're really actually better off buying it at 13. And I think that's an important thing to understand. Okay, so what's the roundup on those? We have, I think Moon River, you could take a speculative position, and I probably will. I can't quite say that you should be buying code. That's probably a bit greasy. ALU a bit late. Atlas, let's have one last look at it. To me, Atlas looks like it's going to break out. I'm going to buy a speculative position.
If there's any coin to do with metaverse gaming has got a bid under it, how long do you think that'll last for post Facebook, Scott?
I think it's more accurate to say that when the bid gets pulled, there will be
Say again, you just cut out, mate.
I think it's more accurate to say that when the bid gets pulled, eventually, there will be no bid. Yeah, I think so. NFTs are so hot. There's so much money flowing into them that there's this great quote by Nassim Taleb where he says that the easiest way to identify a sucker in the markets is that he's focused on the size of the movie theater and not the width of the door. And the whole problem with NFTs is that the width of the door in and out is very, very thin. Like sentiment could change in a blink away from CryptoPunks and fucking apes and all that other shit, and could literally drop 95% inside a week. That is, or that could become the new standard, and the metaverse is the new version of the internet circa 1996. Like that's the way people are talking. Like the metaverse is the new internet, and Facebook agrees, right? They just changed their name on the basis of it. That's a big move for Facebook to employ 10,000 new people, change their fucking name, and go balls in on metaverse. Like, it's not impossible, right?
Yeah, it's like this Atlas. It's a $280 million game at its current market cap. The game has only had a beta release so far, and it's still going to take another year or two for full rollout. But obviously, it's capitalizing on that Facebook metaverse release. And same with that UFO coin that you brought up too.
Yeah, I think I'm going to buy a small position of Atlas.
Is Star Atlas the same as Atlas?
Yeah.
Yes, right.
Where can we get this? Okay, so I'm going to buy some Moon River. I'm going to buy some Star Atlas.
Maybe have a look at the preview of the game, or actually, the game is actually operational, but you can see a short of the game online.
I did jump on the website. It looks very pretty. It looks amazing.
Yeah, it does. Cinematic.
It's like, yeah, it does. It's like Star Wars, and you can buy ships with your tokens and all that sort of thing.
Yep.
To blow up some
the network is the network operates on is Solana.
Okay, well that gives me more confidence. Okay, so FTX is the biggest, Gate IO is the second biggest. 2% depth will get you 8,000. So it's FTX first, and then. Okay, so when you use these small exchanges that have a micro cap on, never use market orders. Set a limit, and you can expect your limit orders to take a couple of hours to fill. So you set it and walk away and come back. Otherwise, you have to go with wherever is the biggest liquidity. So this spread here is 0.13%. The spread in Gate is 0.93%. You don't want to give away the spread. It's just, it marks you as a sucker if you're going to pay the spread just because you can't wait for a little bit to get an order filled. So
what about AEX?
Sorry?
What about AEX?
AEX. I never used it.
0.09.
Good spread. Must be a market maker there.
Low liquidity, but good spread.
But no depth. You can only do 800. And you can only, you're going to jack it up by 2% if you do 824. Okay, so when you see this, what that is there's a market maker present on AEX, right? So a market maker, think about what it takes for someone to set up HFT operation for an unknown tiny coin on a tiny exchange doing 260 grand a day volume. Like that's a significant expense and a significant overhead just to sit and make a market in some exchange that no one's ever heard of. So why would they do that? They're doing that for the express reason of ripping off everyone who tries to enter that exchange. So when someone's stated business is, I'm there to rip you off, and I'd love to rip you off, and that's my business, actually. I'm in ripping off retail punters, and I'd like to sell you this coin, you're probably best just telling them to fuck right off. And exactly the same as after-hours stock charts. Like you can get an after-hours bid, but the only people in the market after hours for any small stock are market makers who are expressly there just to rip you off. They're not there for any other reason. Okay, so that's a lot of work to find two potentials. MOVR and Atlas both look okay.
Three.
So what was the other one?
Moonbeam.
Oh, yeah, Moonbeam.
Not released. No chart.
Not released, but we'll take a closer look at that. So that's probably a higher beta version of that. Where can you get it from?
Well, you'll have to basically buy not Kasama, Polkadot. You have to have Polkadot, and you have to stake Polkadot to actually get Moonbeam.
Parachain and Polkadot. So is there like how does it work? So can you explain that again?
Okay, so I recently took a parachain auction on Kusama.
Mm-hmm.
Now Kusama's like a launch pad.
Yep.
So you have Kusama and you stake your Kusama to a crowd loan, which this is how Moon River was created in the first place, right? So you had Kusama, you staked your Kusama to Moon River.
Mm-hmm.
It won the parachain auction,
Mm-hmm.
and you're off to the races.
Mm-hmm.
Now you probably made for a $3,000 play, you probably made 10,000,
Mm-hmm.
right, with your reward in Moon River, and off it goes from there. Now your Kusama is locked for a period between somewhere between 6 and 48 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get your Kusama back, and you get your token back as well.
Wow, that's crazy complicated.
It is.
Hang up despite that bullshit. It's probably worth a look. All right, I'm gonna do it. I can't recommend that yet, but because that's out. Okay, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about circle of competence. So whenever I get beyond reading price and on-chain metrics, we should look at some on-chain metrics before we go too. Whenever I get beyond my core competence, I can kind of sound like I know what I'm talking about, but I really fucking don't. So I have no business buying like complicated shit that I don't fully understand. But yeah, that I think I'm probably gonna stick with Moon River. Okay, now let's quickly look at Glassnode before we wrap this up. So, by the way, once a week is the ideal time to look at all this shit. Like if you're if you're just sitting in front of the screen and just randomly bring up any chart while you're Googling and Twittering and Redditing, and you're just going to get dopamine fatigue really, really quickly. Okay, spin output lifespan. What we're looking for is big spikes. We didn't see any this week. Big spikes are people have been holding for a long time, like 200 days selling out. As it's going up, price is falling, that's okay. Okay, so this dip dripped us down to, okay, this is very interesting. In a bull market, traders are unwilling to sell at a loss for any length of time. So if you're in a bull market, as soon as it crosses back below, traders should jump in and buy. This is probably the strongest Bitcoin buy signal we have, is if we're in a bull market and it hits here, that's price. This is very important to understand. The psychology of bull markets and bear markets is immediately apparent from ASOPR chart. So let's look at, in a bear phase, price spends most of its time with people selling out at a loss. So here's break even, -5%, +5%, +10%. So we're in a bear market here, most of the time losing money, occasionally gets back to break even, and then people start getting fucked again. Occasionally gets back to even. Most of the time people are getting fucked, occasionally get back to break even, and then they go back to being fucked again. When you have an extreme of people being fucked, that's always the bottom. And now we're clearly in bull market behavior because we have a low and it's being bought. Now, let's consider the 2017. Please see if I make it a bit bigger. Okay, so this is heading up to the 20,000 top in end of 2017. You can see that in the early stages of the bull market, it's quite common for it to pull back to zero briefly, only briefly. The further we get towards the end, the higher these lows are going to be. People are only willing to sell out for a 5% profit, 7% profit. And then as we see this start to climb, we know that we're entering the terminal phase of the bull market. And when we see a big spike out here, like people executing for massive average profit, like like 140% average profit, we know that we're somewhere in the neighborhood of the end. Where are we now with that in mind? Very early stages of the bull market. Nowhere near the end. And let's look again at how long it took in 2017 from the point that we start having lows that are, above sort of 3% profitability. We had, this was October, November, December. This was 3 months from the end. So when we start seeing this shit, we'll start be thinking about 3 months-ish from the end. Make sense? Question in the chat. Question in the chat. Coming back to purchase, if none purchased yet, better to buy from Woolworks instead of Gate.io. Gate took me ages and ages and ages to fill. So you buy a Woo from someplace, it's the same as a Woo you buy from some other place. The difference is the price. If we look at, let's look at the bid ask. Some fucking degenerates playing 10 by Doge coins, leverage coins. Oof. I'd never trade leverage coins, by the way. Here we go. Let's have a look. So 125.69, 125.31. So there's about a cent difference. It's very thin on the bid here. There's only like 7 and 10 bucks, 20 bucks worth of shit here the first couple of ticks. This is almost certainly an iceberg order or a market maker bot. This is you can see if you want to trade size, if you want to trade 20 grand worth, you're going back quite a lot. So yeah, you're going to have to expect an hour to get a feel for a decent price on Woo. I would on Gate. I would probably trade Woo if you have a choice. I mean, I did it on Gate, but it wasn't great. I've got one more question from Deepesh Obot. No, it's not big enough to have charting. And Deepesh quickly look at ADA, which I know Thomas is going to want to see. And that looks like crap. You can see why it's speculative to buy on first retest because, yeah, it looks like crap. Okay, guys, that's any more questions before we wrap it up for today? I think that was a really good call today.
Yeah, mate, no worries.
Position sizing, please, Scott.
Sure.
When we keep adding more and more of these coins.
So what I do is I'm flipping profits into these new coins. So as I make more profit, I think an appropriate bet size for microcaps is about 0.3%, 0.5% max. These are long shot bets. Like I don't want anyone putting 10% of your portfolio in them or like, you know, I fucked up by buying too much Shiba, and it happily worked out, but like it also didn't really happily worked out because I traded like a noodlehead at the end, right? Like not particularly good trading from my point of view. So I would say keep the position sizes small because they really are bets.
Like going to the races.
Sorry, say again.
I'm interested in the current universe. Do you know where? Do you have that list? Is that shareable?
Yeah, let me
awesome.
Post it in the chat.
Thanks, man.
There's two more. What's the other one we had? I forget. It was FTM and one more. I forget which one, but that's most of them. That's all of them except one, which I forget which one.
Awesome, man.
Any other questions? Oh, I know what we're going to do. Quickly. Let's see if we're going to still be in alt season, which we are, but it's always good to check.
Can you share your screen?
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Thanks.
%, definitely going to be an alt season, barring a crash over the weekend. Now, when do alts get overheated? About here. Where are we? About here. We've got a fucking lot of room to run here. So, you know, if there's a time to hold them and a time to fold them, you know, time to walk away, time to run, this is time to press your bets. It's time to get a little. It's not often that you get times when you can be a little bit aggressive. If you're discretionary trading, bias towards the larger coins right now, because the larger coins should go first. The time when the garbage starts to float to the surface is still a couple of months off. And we'll keep a close eye on that going forward. Cool. All right, guys.
Right, Scotty, thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks.